Hello and welcome to another update video about AVAX. So AVAX did break out of the channel to the downside and lost the previous wave 2 low. We talked about that in the previous video, that it could be here in an ending diagonal. It was still trying to push a little higher. However, the warning was here that if we don't make one more high, then we're probably already going to sell off in a wave 2, which gives everybody another possibility to enter here. And that means that we really only moved up here in 3 waves. So that leaves the question, this must be some kind of a B wave top. And therefore I will need to make a small adjustment here to the chart. I think not too much actually. Pretty much okay, but I just need to move. So let me just explain. So before that, before we talked about here, we had a small 1-2 setup, finished off a wave 3. We had an entry point here in the wave 4. This was extremely successful for anybody who took that entry point all the way up here to a possible, let me think, this was the wave 4, yeah, into, a wave 5. Now the question was, this wave 5, was it finished here? Or was this only the first wave of a larger diagonal pattern to the upside? But it just became a very, very messy. But we talked about it, we said as long as it's in the channel here, it can still push higher. And then the worst case point is really here the wave 2 low, that it needs to hold 1875. But if it breaks below that, this count is not defendable anymore. And therefore, I think we have a possibility now for an entry point here in this wave 2 low. But I may have to readjust now this support area. So we're going to do that now. So it's great that we have some new trade setups coming. So idea would be that the wave 1 then finished up here and the wave 5 also finished up here. This has to be the idea now, because otherwise I can't really come up with an alternative count, to be honest, that would make sense. Also, given that a wave 4 likes to be a sideways correction. This was a sideways correction here, so-called running flat, which makes it difficult to count through in general. I don't really like the look of this wave 5, because it really looks like a 3-wave move, and not really happy with it. That leaves a little bit of doubt in this count, yeah, and it might mean that this entire count may fail in the end. And the reason why it may fail is that eventually then what could be the case is that all of this is just a corrective structure, because the wave 5, I don't really see a clear 5-wave structure. You can get away with it. Oops, if I'm looking at the 15-minute chart, you could interpret into this a 1-2, and then you could argue that we had a small 4 and 5 up here. But it's not a very clear one, so I have my doubts, yeah, which you should keep in mind when you think about entering in this wave 2 support area, because it means it can't be counted in an ideal way. But it's still a 5-wave move. It's just that here I would have liked to see a clearer 5th wave up. So what I have to do then, I have to assume that we had here an A wave, here a B wave, and then we're coming down in C. It's pretty much in line now with Bitcoin, Ethereum. However, I would have to adjust the target area for the wave 2. And I will have to go all the way up to obviously the high of the wave 5. So let me just make sure that I pick the correct low and the correct high. And I'm gonna go all the way to the top. Yep, that should be fine. Yeah, and then we have now reached the 38.2 fib level. From here, theoretically, it could already start to move up. So the point is, what I currently observe in the market, we've reached points for many coins where we could see a first bounce. Yeah, we could see a first bounce. Because, let me just try to... Because what could be the case is that all of this is just an A wave. We're going to get a larger B wave and we come down in C. So for example, that the ABC in wave 2 consists of a flat in the A wave, an expanded flat this would be. Then we see a B wave bounce from here. A wave A typically bounces from the 38.2 fib level at 1752, but it's not really a strong entry point, okay? And also we haven't really bounced from it very strongly. But we come to key support levels at this stage across the market. Now, my primary expectation though would be this would be an A wave, this here's a B wave, and we come down in C, and ideally into the region between the 50% fib level at 1619 and the 78.6 fib level, at around 1298. Now, if anybody really wants to get into AVAX, and you don't have any AVAX and you want really to get into it, you know, if I was in your position personally, I would probably start to add a small spot position, because there's never a guarantee that we will really get into this support area. This is more for a real trading turning point, but there's obviously no guarantee. So if you now try to wait for the lowest point here and you don't have anything but you want to get something, there is a reasonable chance for a bounce from here. But of course, not guaranteed, and I would only do this really with a long-term view, and if you don't mind if it eventually dips into this area again. But that's entirely up to you, yeah. I'm just telling you there is a reasonable chance for a bounce from here, and confirmation for a breakout would then be if we break above this previous high at around $21, because yeah, I mean, at the moment, if this is a C wave, I would count it as a 1, 2. We might now be in the 3. There could be still a 4 and a 5 down in C. Or in the other variant, this could be the A wave, yeah, and we go up in B. So there's a few possibilities. And again, I always try to encourage people not to get too confused about the micro count. I think this is a reasonable assumption here, that we're now coming down in a C wave. It's important to be aware of those key fib levels and thresholds here. What is quite important is that here the yellow line, which is the 50-day moving average, is currently going through our support area. So when we come down here, while the moving average is going up, when we come down here, maybe we meet at the 50% fib level around 1619. That would be certainly interesting, and maybe this would be in the confluence for support. In addition to that, also a wave 2 retracement or correction sometimes likes to come back to a previous wave 4 low. Wave 4 low was in this area around the 50% level, so there is strong support there. Yeah, so around 1619. That's also something where I might actually consider to enter around that 1620, 1619 area, maybe with a small spot position, and then if it goes down lower, I might scale up a little bit and set a stop loss eventually down here around the below the 1298 level. But yeah, that's sort of my view. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.